Hello, I'm Nana Wrinkle-Wings, and welcome to Whimsical Rhymes and Tales. So you see these wings. They have wrinkles, they have crinkles, they have rumples and crumples, and I like to think that within each wrinkle there's a story waiting that I can share with you. I hope you're ready to use your big imagination today, because I am, and I have on my imagination cap. And I welcome you to grab yours and use your big imagination right along with me. Just pretend. And we're going to get started. Today's story is about McPhee and Lottie Magpie. And if you may remember that McPhee and Lottie Magpie are just a couple of black and white magpies that enjoy traveling around the world together. And McPhee likes to teach, and Lottie loves the sights and sounds. So, are you ready? Let's go. The name of the story is While the Volcano Sleeps. So, you may remember that McPhee had promised Lottie that one day that they would catch a ride on the back of one of those big white and blue ships. Well, that's exactly what they did. Well, it was July, and the sun was high in the sky as McPhee looked out over the deep blue waters of the Aegean Sea. While Lottie, she was resting as the ship gently rocked back and forth in the gentle currents of the water. Sounds of the waves with music to her ears, and the sea, the smell, it was like no other. Lottie, look, it's the Greek island of Santorini. Oh, McPhee! Wow! Lottie exclaimed as she opened up her eyes. The islands, they seem to be floating in the sunlight. Look at all the tall ships. Well, the sun's intense beams of light made the water sparkle. Oh, McPhee, Lottie exclaimed, Santorini is shaped like a crescent moon. You're right, Lottie, but the land has changed over the years, said McPhee. Santorini, it used to be a round island. 3,500 years ago, something very mysterious happened. 3,500 years ago, McPhee, that was a long time ago. I know, it was a really long time ago, McPhee said, but you see, loud explosions rocked the area as Santorini, which is actually a volcano, erupted. Giant waves pounded the earth, and volcanic ash filled the air as lava flowed from the crater. And during the volcanic eruption of Santorini, the center of the island, it collapsed, and the sea, it covered a large part of the land. Oh, McPhee, Santorini is really a volcano? But it doesn't look like a volcano. Well, the land that has become covered with water is called the caldera. And it's actually one of the largest calderas in the world. Whoa, Lottie was amazed. There's a place on Santorini, Lottie, called Akrotiri, and archaeologists are digging deeply into the ground in that area. The land's been covered for years. They're finding buildings and wonderful paintings and pottery. Who knows what buried treasure they'll find? There is a theory that it might be the mythological lost Atlantis, but only time will tell. That happened so many years ago, Lottie said. She looked out in amazement at the island towering above them. White and blue houses seemed to be clinging at the very edge of the tall cliffs above the water. The boat docked at the shore, near the center of the island, and they watched the passengers, who were pretty shocked because they looked up and there were 600 steps that they had to climb from the water's edge to the town above. Oh my, McPhee, those steps, there's so many steps. So she watched as the passengers began climbing the steps that weaved in and out through the mountain like a white vine. Well, that narrow walkway looks pretty steep, McPhee said, as he perched on the back of the ship. Come on, Lottie, aren't you glad that we have wings and we can fly to the top? Well, McPhee was already in the air. I can't wait to see everything, McPhee. Wait for me. They looked down at the trails of donkeys that were carrying people. Brightly colored blankets covered their backs. Well, Lottie spied a tram, and it extended out over the water as it glided up and down on a wire cable. Look at the tram, McPhee. What a fun ride. Do you think that we can take that back to the ship? Well, the streets at the top were lined with hotels and houses and church bell towers and tiny shops and restaurants. There were balconies everywhere that looked out over the water. McPhee, everyone is dancing to the guitar. Well, Lottie, that instrument's called a bouzouki. McPhee called to her. Hey, look over here. See the vineyards? The vines. The winds are so strong here. The vines, they're actually shaped like baskets, and they protect the grapes. This wind is pretty strong, McPhee. Are you getting tired? A little. Let's take a break. But, Lottie, look over there. See the olive trees? Well, they landed on a branch and they nibbled on a few white grapes. These grapes had been lingering on the vine, and it really actually helped their appetite a little bit before heading back to Fira, which is the capital of Santorini. Lottie, can you smell the fresh baked bread? Let's see if we can find some crumbs. Then can we take a dip in the sea, McPhee? I'm really getting hungry for fish. And I did see someone over there eating octopus. I'm with you, Lottie. We can fly over the volcano's crater if you'd like. There's a volcanic rock at the top, and they say that when you peer into the cracks of the earth, you can see and you can smell the yellow sulfur as it leaks into the surface. It sounds exciting, McPhee. Soon they began to tire. The day was nearly over. It was time for the grand finale. McPhee knew where many people were waiting because of the beautiful sunset. And there were people on the sea in boats and people having dinner on balconies. And restaurants were full as people waited at the water's edge. They were waiting to see the sunset. Lottie, come on. We don't want to miss the sunset in the village of Ia. Patiently, they perched on the top of a tall blue dome, waiting for the sun to kiss the sea. Now, Lottie, watch for the green flash at the very end. Well, Lottie couldn't take her eyes off of the sky as she sat in anticipation. And then it happened. McPhee smiled as the sun touched the blue waters. This one's for you, Lottie, he said as the brilliant rays cast a wonderful scarlet red across the dusky sky. A gold mist shimmered upon the water, and then a warm, soft glow quietly slipped into the twilight. Oh, McPhee, it's beautiful, she sighed, although I didn't see the green flash. Oh, there's always tomorrow, he said. It can be very hard to see, but it was a sunset like no other. Suddenly, they were beginning to feel a little tired as they looked down at the world below them. Oh, there'll be more time to explore in the morning, he said as he looked at Lottie. Let's see if we can still take that tram back to the ship. Where will we go tomorrow, McPhee? Lottie asked. It's a surprise, he answered with a twinkle in his eye. Oh, McPhee, I can't wait. Lottie flew off in the breeze, dreaming of their next adventure. So did you like Santorini? Maybe you can find Greece on the map, and then you can find the island of Santorini floating in the middle of the sea. Until next time, toodaloo.